Welcome to the One Hand at a Time podcast. I'm your host, Chris Welton, and today I have a very special guest, someone who I have had an incredible opportunity in my life to be working with him for the last, almost 10 months now. And I cannot wait just to get in some conversation. You know, this is unscripted. We don't have a lot of questions that we ask right out of the gate. We just get on here, have a conversation. So I want to welcome PJ to my show.
Thanks for having me, brother. Grateful to be on.
Man, what an honor it is to be to have you on today, man. I really appreciate you taking the time out. I know your schedule's super hectic. Are you still in Florida, or are you going back to Colorado yet?
I'm back in Florida. Final 2 days. Okay. Movers come tomorrow, and then full time in Colorado as of Monday.
Are you moving your stuff to Colorado, or are you shipping it to where else?
Like so I got 2 storage units right by the office, just for simplicity. Okay. So I'll keep the stuff here in Orlando. We got a fully furnished rental out in Colorado. So not really taking a whole lot out there. Just want to keep it clean, keep it simple, and then we'll see what the Lord does from there.
Yeah. So we'll get into that in a little bit. We'll get back to the Colorado piece in a little bit, but I got to tell you. So you and I, we were introduced to each other by my really good friend Brian Covey.
Yep.
And then guys, PJ put me through this whole process of interviewing. He was interviewing a lot of coaches, which was really cool. And then I had an opportunity to talk to who's now the president of Element as well, a gentleman by the name of Evan. And we went through all these things and like, oh, this is going to work. We're going to be great. Then I got this message and he said that he decided he's going to do something else and we weren't going to partner together. I was like, okay. So I want to tell you how this works for me. When someone tells me no, that just makes me really excited because it means I get to start using all the things I've trained and worked on in my career in sales. So I believe my next move was, hey, why don't we grab lunch?
Yep.
Right. And we had good lunch and then we were still at a no. Right. I'll let you pick up.
We were at a maybe after lunch.
We were at a maybe. Yeah. He had, when I was a kid, this is way before your time, and we wanted to ask a girl on a date, we would like send this little note and it would say yes, no, or maybe. So he'd check the maybe box in there that we may have something we were going to work on. I felt like right away we had a connection. Our conversations were really good, which is a big deal for me. Like I got some clients right now that we're going to part ways with starting next month. The conversations just aren't what they need to be anymore. So it's time to move on, do something different. Right. But I felt that we hit it off from the start and it was really good stuff there. But question for you is, Phil, tell me how did we finally make that connection to come back and start working together?
I mean, bro, it was really a God thing. I was on a plane, or I was on a Bright Line heading down to an event in Fort Lauderdale, and I saw somebody walk by with a One Jordan shirt on. And I said, oh, One Jordan, I know that brand. And it ended up being your film guy. And you guys were in the back of the train. And I wasn't even supposed to be in that part of the train. Like right before I got on, I upgraded my ticket. And then I just took it as a sign. I said, all right, bro, let's sign up. If there's a billboard in front of my face, I'm not going to try to look for directions and go another way. I'm just going to take the sign in front of me.
Yeah, let's go to work. And I feel like to what we've done since then, like we really have dived in and just been work. I'm looking forward to going to some events with you next year. Hopefully you'll come to one or two of those events we talked about, and then we can kind of hang out a little bit. But I want you to kind of tell the audience where you're at right now. Because last year you were a massive producer, this year on track to do 70 something million, but you've done some other things too. So let's talk about that growth, and we can come back to some coaching things as well. But fill us in on what's going on with PJ right now.
Yeah, absolutely. So 2025 by far has been my greatest year of growth professionally and personally by a mile. So I'll do personal production will be just over 70 million. Our team production, because I have a couple of junior LOs combined with all of us, will be over 100 million. And then I stepped into a role in July through guidance and mentorship and all the things that we process to become an owner of Element Mortgage and the VP of sales. And in my first 5 weeks of recruiting, we onboarded 130 million in production and grew the company by 35%. Mm-hmm. So it will be 70 million personal production, 100 million for my team and for the branch. And then we'll finish the year probably 35 to 40 million a month for Element Mortgage as a whole.
Yeah. So I want you to share what the struggles have been going from being known as this top producer that's anywhere and everywhere now to having to If you guys ever recorded my phone calls with PJ, I tell him to slow down almost every call. But what has happened now that you've had to slow down a little bit and be more critical, more of a critical thinker when it comes to building up everyone else around you?
Yeah, I think it's actually a better alignment with core values, because so October will be the first month that I haven't had my name at the top of a leaderboard since I've been originating over the last 18 months. But I think if you go back to core values, service and empowering others is one of those core values. So you really have to, uh, you just have to really be really invested into the long game, because you know you're planting seeds that aren't going to sprout as fast, but they're going to sprout a lot taller and they're going to be a lot stronger when they do sprout. So it's just a constant battle with ego. You're just taking your ego and you're grabbing a sword and you're slicing it into pieces, but you know that you're doing it for a target that's more worthy.
Yeah, delayed gratification,
Yep,
right? Like we talk about long obedience in the same direction is how we get massive results on the long haul. I mean, look, we know that if you'd have stayed in the space of originating, combined with you and I working together, I believe 200 million would have been the next number. We'd have
I
easily
agree.
been 100 million this year if it had been just your production.
I
Um,
agree.
and but curious why you want to, what made you want to change that deal with trying to be this massive producer and now trying to be more in a leadership focused space?
I think it's almost the same thing as why I agreed to move to a remote mountain town in Colorado, which is to pull it off. I have to be that much better and I have to be who I really say I am. So for me to make the impact in the industry as a leader and to still have the same clout and the same momentum and create the same adrenaline, I have to be so much better of a leader when I'm not the one touching the sales. It's just like the same way as if I'm going to grow a business and not have the same access I have to this constant hamster wheel of networking. I have to be so much more intentional about the way I'm using my time and the events I'm going to and the people I'm networking with. So I took it as a challenge. It was the same reason why I moved to Orlando. It's the same reason why I hired you as a coach. I'm on a journey of constantly looking for opportunities that are going to stretch my capacity and make me a better professional, make me a better man, make me a better husband, make me a better father. And I thought the opportunity to step into a leadership role was going to test that capacity and it was going to cause me to grow. Because growing as an originator, even though there's a lot of challenges with it, but even if I look at the teams I've been a part of where you had an originator doing 200 million, you're just adding fulfillment pieces to a conveyor belt. And it takes a lot of work and a lot of strategy, but I could see what this is like. It's another loan partner, it's another processor, it's another referral partner. But as for you're not, it doesn't require a change in philosophy or a change in personality or a change in how you approach the week. It just requires how many yeses can we give and how many bodies can we hire to fulfill it. And I cast that vision out like, okay, so I had another 70 million in production. I can see what that lifestyle looks like. Whereas if I try to open up 5 new markets and bring on 5 new branches that all have different goals and different product mixes and different personalities, that's going to test my capacity a lot more than picking up 3 more real estate teams within a 5 mile radius.
Yeah. And so anybody that's listening to this isn't a big producer. Don't take this the wrong way, but if you do, that's okay. Maybe you should do something different. But like top producers, it's almost easy. And I don't mean like, oh, it's an easy job, but like this is what we do, right? So I've excelled in every industry I've ever been in. I've found ways to the top because that's what I was focused on in doing that. So you could take PJ and drop him in the middle of nowhere and he could create a new business and sell and do whatever it is and be successful. That's the type of person he is. Now, here's the unselfish part of that. The selfish part would be, I'm going to do a billion in origination and I'm going to do all this stuff. And the true impact is very little trickle down, maybe to some employees and some other stuff. Yeah, you're helping people get a mortgage. That's great. But the impact isn't true. So another reason why I left the mortgage space full time and became a coach is because I wanted more impact that was long-term legacy building.
Mm.
So what you're doing now is you're taking what you know how to do at a super high level and you're helping other people understand and have the belief to create that for themselves. And so now all of a sudden it goes from being, okay, I impact my team of 10 and they have a great life. to now I impact a company of 100, and then how many people do they impact? And then how many people, then it's just 10x, right? It just keeps going and going and going. So what I love about that is that you very easily could have said, hey, my goal is to be number one in Scotsman's Guide. Chris, help me. Let's build this out. Let's get the team in place. Let's do these things. Be client forward facing and just build strategies and do these things. But instead, you're like, okay, I'll take a step back.
Yep.
It's not about ego anymore. It's about who I can impact. And we've had that conversation a couple of times about the difference in where do I want to be in the Scotsman's Guide or where do I want to be in my personal guide. Right.
100%.
So, yeah. So I'm curious how you feel about that now as compared to when you first started the journey.
Yeah. Well, I heard an incredible message on Sunday, and it was on success versus significance. And success is the impact you have when you're in the room. Significance is the impact you have when you're not in the room. And you can think about even as a coach, right? That message you give, you could speak on stage and you're going to be successful, but your significance is how many people leave the room that you spoke in, and now they're up at night thinking about that message that you gave.
Yeah.
So I think the further that I go down the path, it's definitely a lonelier path because you don't have the frequency of dialogue that you have where everything's coming to you. It's now all you're going. I mean, just like when you're prospecting, but when you're in a leadership role, you're going to your people, you're pouring into your people, versus when you're in origination, you just have, whether it's borrower, title, agent, you don't really have to think a whole lot about who you're responding to. So I think it just requires refinement. I feel great. I mean, I felt great that I get the opportunity again, so young in my career, to go through another recreation. And that's been a gift I've been given. I've recreated probably 4 or 5 times in 5 to 6 years of what's required of me to be the best at what's in front of me.
Yeah, I look at more of, instead of recreating, more of an evolution. You've evolved into a better place each time, right? Like recreating usually means you failed. Like someone says, I recreated. Oh, well, did you not do the work and now you're doing something different?
Yeah.
Right. So but you've done the work at a really high level and said, okay, well, this isn't enough for somebody else to help other people. This isn't enough for me to do what I really want to do in the long play. Yeah, you could sit back in your beautiful home in Winter Garden, Florida, enjoyed the nice warm winters and done whatever you wanted and done 150, 200 million and been very successful.
Yep.
But now you're evolving into this leader in a space of, the truth is there's not very many good leaders in the mortgage space.
Well, and that's what I've realized, bro. Like when I looked at Scotsman, I thought there was a very small handful of top producers. And now I've realized there's a lot more top producers than there are good leaders. Way more.
Oh yeah.
Way more. Even your 25 to $30 million producers. I mean, you got guys that still make 250, 300 grand. They live great lives. They do good volume. And almost 95% of the producers I talk to, I haven't heard from my branch manager. I have no leadership. I have no coaching. And I got exposed to this whole new world of offices with no energy, no culture, no accountability, no leadership. And now I realize, like, okay, there's a very small handful of people that really want to walk the walk and talk the walk as a leader.
Yeah. And I think that one of the cool things about your personality is a friend of mine, I have a buddy named Damon West, and he talks about infecting a room or affecting a room. And you affect a room, brother. Like infection is a negative thing. You come in and you affect a room. Like when you get into a room, you're very charismatic and people come to you. And that's a dangerous trait to have, right? Because you can really have the wrong message and share the wrong message with people and take a company in the wrong direction. So I think that's what I really enjoyed is watching you balance leadership with being able to have good coaching, and then also with your faith-based, and you're able to balance these things, and not everybody's answer is the right answer for you, right? Yep. Like you're able to filter that through and say, okay, I appreciate what Chris said on a call this week. That's good. But then at church this weekend, I got this message. How can I combine those messages to be the best version of myself and affect the room I'm going to walk into next?
Amen,
and I see that from you on a very high scale, right? Like it'd be so easy, PJ, for you to do all the wrong things and people would follow you anyways. They just would. We know that story. We've seen that happen countless times in business, right? So that you staying on the right track and making the right decisions is a bigger burden than I think you understand you have right now.
Mm.
But as you grow in the business, in the leadership space, you'll realize that especially when it comes to getting people to make the right decisions on a daily basis inside your company.
So good, bro. Yeah, I mean, I think you definitely see how, I mean, even communication, we've talked about communication standards and the way I communicate. Now I realize the ripple effect of one poorly typed email, one incoherent message. It's not just one, two, three, it could be 50 people that are now all impacted. So it just requires everything to go through a tighter filter, a fight, and it's all more intentionality, but it goes back to why do you do it? Because if you want to be the best, then I think about one of my favorite movies, Never Back Down. It says if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. But sometimes beating the best is just beating yourself. You just got to be able to get to a place where you're making really good decisions consistently all the time. And my grandfather used to say, your life is a sum total of the choices and decisions you make. So add up all the decisions you made on a daily basis, and it's going to show you what did you produce after 24 hours. And you just got to do it again and again and again.
Yeah. And well, let's talk about that for a minute. What I think that most people are struggling with, the struggle in the real estate mortgage space right now, is the lack of desire to repeat it again and again. And the lack of desire to do the boring and the tedious work that it takes to be great. Yep. And I'll relate that to what I call the adversity accelerator. And adversity accelerator says that I have to continually do hard things so I'm better at the hard things. Right. So for me, it's the physical things I put myself through. So I'm a better leader, a better coach. Like this morning, I was out on the trail right by my house and I did interval sprints for 8 kilometers. Right. Like, who's 53 years old that's doing sprints in the morning in the dark? Right. Like, and it wasn't about, I can get on this podcast and brag about it. It was about, if I can do that and show up in the morning and do these things to prepare for the High Rocks competition in Dallas here in a month and a half, then why can't you make your calls?
Yep.
Why can't you show up every day? What are you doing to be different? And I was on Mortgage Coach podcast this last Friday, and I just had that reoccurring message like, look, guys, I hear the market's tough, but I don't believe it.
Yep.
I don't believe it because I continue to put myself in rooms where people win.
Yep.
And then I learn from them, right? So what do you think the difference is right now from the people that are doing the numbers and the people that are crying about the lack of numbers?
Focus. It's all about what are you focusing on? Because I think at any time in any market, there's an upward spiral and there's a downward spiral. And the people that are producing are focusing on abundance versus scarcity. I mean, I'd say that there's 2 things. The first part is what am I focusing on? And the second thing is it abundance or scarcity? So abundance says that there's more than I could ever touch, more than I could ever ask, think, or imagine is out there. And then it's activity breeds activity. So it's what am I focusing on? Do I believe in abundance? And am I showing up on a daily, weekly, monthly basis to generate activity? I mean, even just now, so we just launched the commercial division, which I'm super excited about. And we're inviting residential agents to participate in referral compensation for sending their commercial deals over because it's an income stream that nobody tapped into. So this morning, it's the white space of every producer. You get into the office and your phone's not ringing. What do you do when your phone doesn't ring? And you have to push. You have to put exactly, but you got to push through this white space and say, I'm just going to sit here in silence and generate activity. And within an hour and a half, I got a deal back. Hey, here's a buyer. He wants to put in an offer on a property. It's just because I've made a bunch of calls in the morning and then a couple hours later, deals come back. But if you just do that every single day, you're never gonna have to worry about a pipeline. And then I would say the fourth part of that is I think top producers. So it's focus, abundance, activity. And then the fourth part of that is they don't need the deal. Like that's the other thing that top producers are okay with is they don't need that deal. So like I'm okay if you never send me anything because I'm genuinely okay if all we ever are is friends. And I think that posture of just building like it's a delicate balance. You don't want to get in the friend zone with everybody, but it gives you a lot more leverage when you don't need the thing you're asking for or you're selling.
Yeah, I think that one of the things I know to be true for sure is that people aren't putting themselves in a position to win enough.
Yep.
And look, I had the opportunity. I had a phone call with one of your top realtor partners the other day, and I asked him kind of how you guys met, and he kind of went through the process, and he said that you had done such a good job of becoming a backup lender to so many places, and that caused you to win. And then when you separated from the company you were at to go to Element, it was no decision. He just was coming with you regardless, because of you put it out there. You went and did the work. You got in front of people, and too many, like, I mean, I could get on a soapbox and just preach for like 30 minutes about this to people right now, but like, if you're not taking the risk every day to get rejected, what are you doing?
100%.
Like
bro.
I have a very successful coaching company. Okay. Like, we're up 190% over last year's volume. Okay. And what do I do on my lunch break today? I've got 10 people I have to text potential clients and consulting deals. I have 5 more people I got to text about potential speaking opportunities next year. Right. I don't have to do that if I didn't want to, because we've made enough money that it doesn't matter. But that's not the point. The point is, I have to do it because I want to do it, because I want to continue to grow and lead by example. How could I get on a phone call with a client and say, hey, you should do these following things, and I'm not doing it? Right. And then I also look at it as, how am I showing up to, when I show up on these calls, when I show up on anything that I do, if my son was watching?
That's good,
right.
bro.
My family's watching.
Goes back to the
so
burn.
like, yeah, man, connecting with my burn and understanding that is what is going to get me to that next level. Stop telling me that rates are high. Stop telling me the market's tough and it's saturated. Like, dude, give me one more lame excuse why you're broke. Like, I can't, I just don't know what to tell you. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand that anymore. And at first I was captivated by it when I was running a mortgage company for a while, because I didn't know any different. And you're part of my mastermind. And in our mastermind, how many people are winning like crazy in that mastermind?
Everybody's winning.
Like smashing it. Like literally, one of our guys that's in the mastermind that has been having an okay year, not great, but I mean, compared to most, better than most, he's going to do 9 million this month, dude. He's closing 9 million this month. Why? Because he got in the room with like 8 other guys and they're all closing 100 million. Like how can he not do that? I saw this post today on Facebook on this group, and it was this realtor group, and they're like talking about what you should do or what you shouldn't do to be, you know, if you do these things, you're not going to be successful. And I said, well, the one thing I wouldn't do if I was a realtor is hang around people that did less business than me. Why? Why would I hang around an LO that does less business than me? Unless they're my assistant, right? Like, I'm just not, like, I want to learn and grow from that. So how have you put yourself in the right rooms, PJ? And because I see you on stages and we see you in other places, like, how are you doing that? And I want to talk about how you filter all that information.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's just ruthless accountability with yourself. That are you better today than you were the day before? I don't even know. I mean, there is a strategy to it, but I think the most important block in all of that is just ruthless accountability of, am I moving forward? I mean, that's just the most important thing in this journey is every single month I want to move forward. Like, I was even texting Evan this morning. I'm like, I legitimately believe that next year we'll be funding $100 million a month in residential volume and $50 million a month in commercial volume. And it's setting these big goals that don't make any sense today, but then being willing to pursue them, and even knowing, even if we fall short, we'll be way further ahead than we are today. So what that's done is it's created speaking opportunities. It's put me in rooms because now I'm seeking knowledge. Like, I was even texting one of my mentors. He runs one of the largest divisions at New American, because I'm thinking, man, who does this job better than anybody, right? Like, you got your boy Brian Covey, and then I'm thinking about my boy Frank, and I'm like, who manages 60, 70, 80, 90 LOs and does it well? And I just reach out. I just say, hey, like, what's your thought process on this? How do you approach your week? How do you approach your day? And honestly, bro, just asking questions has probably been the greatest thing for my entire career. Is just reaching out and asking people genuinely with true curiosity, like, hey man, I'm trying to figure this out. What's your game plan here? How do you approach this? And I found that 90% of the time, people that are in higher positions than me want to give back. Like, I don't have any problem admitting I have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm fully confident that once I learn, I can execute higher than anybody. So it's kind of this totem pole that I think any top producer that people enjoy being around anyway you can balance like 100% humility and 100% confidence. Like I'll sit down with
Yeah.
somebody and say, you know, way more than I do about this topic. And I'm totally cool with that. But I'm also not scared of my ability to perform at the same exact
Mhm.
time. Like both realities are true.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Well, I love the fact that you put yourself in those rooms or ask those questions. But the third part of that is you actually turn it into action,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like you turn it into action. Like it's and it's so funny because when I get on my coaching call at PJ and we have one today, he tries to get off the call in about 15 minutes usually. Like literally at 15 minutes, okay, I got everything. I got to go. I'm like, no, bro, we got to slow down. Let's work through this a little bit. Like he literally tries to get off the call in 15 minutes. I'm like, dude, we got 30 minutes. Let's process this a little bit. Like, because as soon as I say two things that he wants to do, he's got to stop. Right, like, I got to go. If I wait, I'm going to be late. I got to go right now. Right, like I have to move. So I think that's the other skill set. The reason why you're so successful is you're fast to act. You don't take time. You're like shoot, ready, aim, right? Like you just go for it, and then we clean up the mess afterwards. And I'm not saying that the message is what it is, and that's not a negative thing. It's just like I'm not going to wait for everybody else to give me the okay and think this is a good idea. If I believe it's a good idea based off of what somebody I trust told me to do, I'm just going to go do it, man. Like
100%, bro. And that's where the integrity helps as a filter, because I do just act, but I also have, and again, it's not all like this great source of wisdom. I'm still human. I still make mistakes, but at least I run it through a filter of integrity of like, hey, is this in alignment with core values? So it gives me the permission to act really fast because I'm not going to do anything that's out of character. So if it passes the moral test and I think it's going to help us grow, then I'll just go for it. I mean, if it's something that's if it's adding value.
What a powerful statement, dude. It passes the moral test. And look, I know that's how you think because I see you doing those things, right? And if it passes the moral test, then I'm going to go for it. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
God put this thought in my brain for a reason, dude, and not to not do it. Okay,
yeah,
not to not do it. You know what I mean?
100%. I'm like, look, is this in alignment with core values? Do I love God? Do I love people? Is this going to negatively impact anybody? No. Then all right, I'm doing the campaign. I'm launching the promo. I'm making the offer. I'm sending the proposal, and we'll figure out how to fulfill it later.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just want to plant as many seeds as possible. Some are going to sprout, some aren't. It's just like, that parable, the soil is going to be some rocky ground. Some birds are going to take some seed. Like all of these trees aren't going to sprout, but my job in sales is to plant seeds. So I'm not waiting for everybody's permission to go and plant seeds. I'm just going to plant them everywhere and we'll see what sprouts.
Well, what's cool about that is again, when I started out the conversation in the beginning, we talked about slow down to speed up. So I have this special relationship with my VIP clients that I'm on call for them if they need me. And, which is great because I want to help them with things. But if I get a text from PJ and it says rabbit hole, I have to stop what I'm doing, to make a phone call. And we've built that trust together because if he feels like he's going the wrong direction, but it might not be the right, let's talk it through.
Yep.
And we've had some great conversations. I'm like, yes, 100%, let's go do it. Right. Or there's been some that's like, okay, maybe we shouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Let's pump the brakes. But the sounding board piece of that shows that you're mature way beyond your years because you're willing to take advice from other people.
100%,
Right.
bro. And I think that wisdom, like in the multitude of counsel, there's wisdom. And I think coaching and mentorship has also been the number one accelerator above any other accelerator. Every single time I've invested in a coach, I've made more money.
Yeah.
Like it's just a bulletproof formula. If you're a producer and you're in sales and you want to make more money and you want to grow, you have to get coaching. I mean, it's a non-negotiable. What great athlete doesn't have a coach? What great athlete doesn't have an offensive coordinator? What great athlete doesn't have a physical trainer and a massage therapist and an owner and a GM and an agent? It's just like, if you're in sales, you're an athlete. I think you actually gave that analogy too, of like, I'm your agent now. But it's true. I mean, you don't think about yourself like that, but you're in a marketplace where a lot of organizations want you because you're able to generate massive books of business. And or you can keep going, but I was just gonna say, even the coach too, the coach will speak life into you in ways that'll affirm. It's an affirmation that gives you the confidence to execute in ways you wouldn't normally execute if you weren't getting that type of feedback. So when I started to get new types of praise from people I respect in the role, it gave me the confidence to make bigger proposals And we've created some massive national partnerships where, it was us, this little tiny branch division that's growing, and Zillow Mortgage. And like, these are the two people they're reviewing going into business with, and they choose us
Mm-hmm.
because of the way we propose it and the way we put the deal together and the way we position it. So I just believe in the mentorship. I believe in the wisdom. And I also think it compresses time frames. Like, why would I try to
Yes.
do something for 10 years on my own if I can ask somebody and they can teach me how to do it in 30 days?
Yeah, that's compressing time is my big deal. I mean, I started my full 100% coaching journey at 51 years old, right? Like, so I don't have 20 years to build something. I mean, I do. I'll be around longer than 20 years, but I don't have I want to be great earlier than 20 years. And I'm not saying I need an overnight success story, but what I needed was, who do I know that can introduce me to people I need to know to
Yep.
compress time? Who can I learn from? I have two coaches. I have two coaches, do 2 coaching calls a week with my coaches, and it keeps me in line, keeps me on track with things, makes me hold myself accountable to a high standard. And that's the difference, man. That's the difference. And I have a massage therapist too. I got a massage yesterday. Like, I get one every 2 weeks. But again, it's what are we doing to focus on to get better, right? Like, what does that look like? And I think so many people are waiting for things to come to them to get better. So how would you define that? What do you feel like? You just talked about coaching and mentoring being a big deal, but what else is it that keeps you on track to be that better, so much better every day?
Multiple things, bro. If it was a bowling alley, there's probably 10 principles on each side that are my bumpers, so I don't go in the gutter. I mean, the first thing when you're talking about coaching and mentors, I think about these quotes and kind of these themes and principles I go back to. Jim Rohn: work on your job, you make a living; work on yourself, you make a fortune. I go back to that quote all the time, which is just, I'm going to work harder on yourself than you work on your job. So, I mean, I think first, North Star spiritually, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things will be added on to you as well. I think, all right, I want a house built on rock. I want something that's going to last, because that helps me filter. I'm committed to marriage. When me and my wife fight, I'm not entertaining the D word. I'm not like, oh, maybe I'm in, maybe I'm out. I'm like, no, I'm going to have a great marriage and I'm going to raise great kids. That forces me to have a really strong household. And bro, I've realized this coaching over the last 60 days, how many producers struggle with production because they don't have their house in order.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
fighting with their girls and divorce and, kids and drugs, like all these things that happen in real life. And I'm like, well, no wonder nobody's closing any loans, because how do you focus with all this stuff going on? So I think that's why it's so important to have a strong foundation at home, because it gives you the freedom to come in and just get after it 10 to 12 hours a day with a clear mind. So number one is I want to have a strong foundation. Number two, I think what helps keep me on track is the responsibility, where I genuinely believe I have an obligation to use every ounce of my potential. Like, I feel like I don't want to say burden, but I feel like it's my God-given duty to make an impact on this world, because I've been given capacity and I've been given the ability to make an impact. So who am I to not steward that?
Yep.
I think about like the 5 parables. It's like, if I've been given 5 talents, I'm going to turn it into 10. Like, I want to make an impact. And then another quote I love: if another man can, why can't I? All of these, men who built America, and these Rockefellers and Vanderbilts and Elon Musks, and, you got guys like, and they're incredible physical specimens. We got guys like Jordan. The things you can extract from somebody like a Jordan, we might not dunk, but we can put in 1,000 reps. The thing you can take from Steph Curry is you can shoot 1,000 shots a day. Like, so I just look at all of these people, all the books behind me, and the Ray Dalios and the people who have done incredible things in the world. I'm like, all right, well, if another man can, why can't I? I'll do it in my industry. I'll climb the Mount Rushmore of mortgages. If all of these other incredible men can climb the rooftop penthouses of their industry. So,
Yeah, I mean, there's proof everywhere. There's proof everywhere what you can do, right? And success leaves proof, right? Success leaves footprints, and you can follow that. And to me, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. Like, I coach people outside the mortgage industry. I was on the call earlier with a CEO of a building supply company, and we were going over his financial statements for year to date through 3 quarters. And they've done 6 times what they did all last year.
Let's go.
In 2025. 6 times.
Let's go.
And it's what's different? Well, we changed what their belief was.
Mm.
We changed what the possibilities were. And too many people are letting a ceiling be put on them, whether it's a parent telling them they're not good enough, whether it's a spouse or anything in the industry. They have these ceilings that other people are putting on you, and you remove the ceilings. Look, there's no, I don't care what industry you're in. There's no ceiling, only one you create. You can go crush it in anything. You want to be the best Uber driver, go be the best Uber driver, and you can kill it. Maybe one day open your own deal, your own app, right? The market's there. Go make it happen. But when I look at people that are letting other people tell them their worth and slow them down and tell them what's possible and not possible, oh, you can never do that. Don't do that. I tried that. It didn't work.
Yep.
If I had $5 for every time somebody told me they tried that and it didn't work, I wouldn't have to do this podcast. You know what I mean? Like I'd have a bucket full of money somewhere. So I know that you don't believe in the ceilings and stuff, but are people trying to throw ceilings on you from time to time? Do you feel like people are telling you just that besides me telling you slow down to speed up,
You know,
are
it's
people
funny.
trying to help with your limiting beliefs?
Yeah, I would say like slow down as the doormat before you go into the house, and then occasionally other people will put a door. Bro, you know what's so this is it's a double-edged sword. I've stopped communicating with a lot of people that in the past have told me that things are bad ideas. Like it's kind of like it's the first time in my life I've ever felt that it's lonely at the top. I'm not saying I'm at the top by any means, but I've just stopped communicating with family that hasn't done anything in the marketplace or in business because they can't relate. And every time I'm in an intimate circle, they take an opportunity to just unload 40, 50, 60 years of failure in the marketplace on what I'm trying to do. So when I started, yeah, absolutely. Like when I first started like pursuing production and we got into the mortgage business and was sharing about things that I was working on, I would take a lot of that feedback and then it would just take up space in my mind. So now there's just a lot smaller group of people that I talk to really about anything. Like it's a very small list with massive goals because I don't want anybody to pollute the water.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to pollute. Like, I mean, bro, some of the stuff we're trying to do doesn't even make sense to people. There's people that have been in the business 15, 20 years and they're like, bro, what are you talking about? So I'm like, just watch, just hit refresh in 6 months and I'll show you.
Yeah. JWM, baby. Just watch me.
Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, I have people in our family that say things to my wife like, does Chris even have a real job? No, he doesn't actually. Actually, he made more last month than you made this year. So that shit ain't real. Like that's not real. But like, you know what I mean? Like you have these people, like I had a family member say to me, she looked at me across the table and she says, the dining room table, she goes, Chris, are you surprised how successful you are? I was like, are you surprised how successful I am? Because I feel like that's the real question we need to ask here. I feel like because you're so educated with your 7 degrees, like you don't feel like I should be successful. Like, so that's constantly coming at you. I call them tests. Call them test days when you're challenged and you're like, oh my gosh, maybe I should stop chasing my dreams. Maybe I should stop doing things. Look, I am 100% committed to never stop doing what I want to do to make someone else comfortable.
I love that, bro.
I'm not going to do it. Okay. How comfortable you are is not my problem. Okay. I'm not driving you around as your chauffeur. So your comfort is not my issue. Okay. Like, so if you're not comfortable with what I'm trying to do, maybe you should up your sights, up your goals. Okay. But you're right. I don't spend time with anybody else that doesn't understand what it is we're trying to do.
Nope.
Because it's just super counterproductive. Right. It is.
Bro,
people come to you.
Honestly, the only thing that really fires me up, like I get inspired when I go, every time I step into a new blue ocean, like the thing that was exciting about Orlando, brand new market. The thing that's exciting about VP of sales, brand new markets. The thing that's exciting about commercial, something nobody's doing in our industry. I just like stepping. I love building, bro. I love building. And when you're building, you can't have people knocking down your foundation. Like I can't have people coming in and setting my 2x4s on fire when I only got 4 studs up. I'm like, because it's all in infancy. And that's what I realized. Like when you're in infancy stage constantly, like one bad voice can kill the seed. It'll suffocate it. It'll choke it. So I'm like, bro, I don't want to hear anybody coming even in this building until we at least get the exterior up.
I don't need anybody to create self-doubt for me. I doubt myself enough sometimes, dude. Like I wake up in the middle of the night with
I love a little bit of hate every now and then because I'm like,
oh yeah. I mean, I do love hate. I shared that message with you I got the other day from somebody who was just hating on me like crazy.
Yep.
And that was all 100% based off of you left us and you're successful and we don't like it.
Yep. And they never
That's what
will,
it came
bro.
down to.
I've had plenty of that too.
Hey, the great what that said that I heard something this morning. The greatest payback for someone that hates is for you to go be incredibly successful, right? So go do that. So look, if you're listening to this today and you've made it this far, you're obviously committed to trying to get better.
Amen.
And the bottom line is continue putting yourself around people that are doing more than you. Don't be afraid to ask the big questions. Don't be afraid to ask the big people to try to do business with them, because a no from a high level individual or low level is still a no. So why not go for the big one, right?
Amen,
why
bro.
not swing for the fences and go for the big one? And it took me a long time to realize that. And now that I'm like, okay, well, I'm just going to swing for the fences all the time, and I'm going to hit some home runs, and it's going to happen, and we'll get some rejection. That's okay.
Let's go.
Like I told you earlier, when someone tells me no, I'm like, oh, this is good. I get to work on all the things I teach, right? Tell me no, please. Right.
Let's
so
go.
We can figure out a way to get to a yes. Look, man, as we part here, any final notes, any final thoughts before I sign us off?
No, man, I'll just say believe in yourself. Like, just take this as a sign. If you're locked in and you're listening, whatever that business is, whatever that new proposal is, whatever that growth target is, whatever that move is, just do it. Like, the only way to grow is to go. So just grow through it, go through it, and get after it.
Yep, I agree 1,000%. If somebody wants to follow you or talk to you maybe about an opportunity with Element, what's the best way to connect?
Yeah, all Instagram. So that's my number one platform. You can just follow me at PJ Crez, Crez. It's an Italian last name, so we cut off all the letters. So we just went PJ Crez, Crez, the number 3 on Instagram.
I thought that was a word scramble the first time I saw it. Honestly, I thought, no, just kidding. Yeah. So look, if you're wanting to grow and change where you're at, you're not happy with what's going on, have more conversations with people that are winning. If you're wanting to make a move in the mortgage space, have a conversation with PJ. Their team's doing some incredible things, but we know that sometimes a change of environment is a requirement for us to grow and do other things. If you're interested in learning more about our mastermind and some other stuff, just DM me one hand at a time, or you can reach out at chriswelton.live. We'd love to have some more high producers into our mastermind, because we're really killing it at a high level there. But hey, thanks for tuning in, and we'll be back with another episode soon.
Thanks, bro.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the One Hand at a Time podcast. We hope you enjoyed the episode and were able to take away something that will help you elevate your career, business, or just your personal life in general. If by any chance you would like to take your journey even further than just this podcast, then please consider going over to chriswelton.live and potentially scheduling a time to work with Chris to develop the steps to help you get to the next level. If you also are interested in learning even more about Chris Welton, then please visit his Instagram or YouTube channel, One Hand at a Time. There are weekly uploads giving you a true glimpse at his life and all of the motivation and knowledge that he has to offer. Again, thank you for listening, and we hope to have you back on the next episode.